God's truth, God's words, God's commands, they're not dependent on how I feel. They help guide me when my feelings are up and down, when my feelings are left and right, when my feelings are unstable.
When you step into an elevator, you decide where you're going to go. And it's the same with your pursuit of purity. You can decide what you do, where you go, and ultimately the path you take. It's always your choice.
I'd like to talk to you about feelings and how it relates to your pursuit of greater purity. Now, look, this topic is pretty personal for me because my feelings are intense. I'm an emotional guy. And for so long in my life, I used to live life based upon how I felt. If I felt good today, then I would make good choices. If I felt bad, I would maybe be in gray areas and maybe I would make choices that would hurt others. Now, look, I'm not a robot. I don't expect to go around not living life with some sort of sense of feeling. But I learned a lesson a long time ago. The lesson is this: our feelings are true. They're real. You feel them. But they don't always reflect truth. And that is a very important distinction to make. Yes, you do feel what you feel, but your feelings aren't always going to lead you in a place that is holy and honoring to those closest to you. So how do we take our feelings? How do we process them? What filter do we put them through? Well, it's pretty easy to know that answer: God's word. How do we live a life of purity? How do we process our feelings? Well, let's see what the psalmist says in the book of Psalm 119, verse 9. And it says this: how can a young person stay in the path of purity? By living according to your word. You see, God's word doesn't change. It's consistent, it's constant, it's stable. God's truth, God's words, God's commands, they're not dependent on how I feel. They help guide me when my feelings are up and down, when my feelings are left and right, when my feelings are unstable. So in your pursuit of purity, it's important to recognize your feelings. You don't have to shut them down, but you do have to bring them in line with God's word so that you are empowered to make good choices, so that you are empowered to make holy choices that not only bring honor to God, but are a blessing to those closest to you. Now remember this: the pursuit of purity is a privilege. It's not a burden. And yes, some days may be hard, but the pursuit is not impossible.